Okay, let's look at this. I want to go back to this story about this 16-year-old kid that hid in the wheel well of an airliner. Again, I'm going to tell you, I'm a pilot. Okay, I don't fly these planes, but planes fly all the same. I don't fly at these altitudes, but altitude planes react similarly at different altitudes. The higher you go, the thinner the air. The thinner the air, the faster you have to go to get more wind to move over the wing to create the lift. Then a plane that's down lower, where the air is thicker, you can go slower, so it creates more lift. It's because the molecules are very sparse when you get up that high, which means there's no oxygen. Okay? That's a very important thing. I'm going to fix this over here so you can see its loss. Okay. So this kid supposedly hit up in the wheel well. First of all, there isn't much room in there, so I would find it hard to believe that the kid wouldn't get smashed or part of his body. Number two, it would be 75 degrees below zero. Okay? That's not even counting the wind chill factor of 500 miles an hour. Okay? You couldn't dress the kid up warm enough. You'd have to have fucking a spacesuit. Okay? It's a 5.5-hour flight from California to Hawaii. Okay, if you look at all of these stats here, at that altitude, at 40,000 feet, they normally fly 32 to 40, somewhere in there, it varies. You got 9 to 15 seconds of oxygen. If you can't even eject out of an airplane at that height. But my point is this. This isn't just this story. It's all the stories. It's all the wars. It's all the taxes. It's all the things that they're doing to you that are made up. If you would just stop and look at this, you'll understand that it's complete and utter bullshit. That they're obviously talking about something completely different. I know Fox News is involved in some really crooked shit. I know Rupert Murdoch is involved in gun running and drugs. I don't give a shit if he sues me or not. Because all of that has to do with that whole Jewish armada and that whole Vatican fight for this whole world dominance for the golden era and for power and all the ley lines. That's what all the fighting's about. It's about the ley lines where the powers lie. They want that property. It's all about power. All of these stories are made to induce you to think certain things. This clearly is a clear-cut, perfect story that shows you just how fake it is. An average person should say, well, then why are they lying to us? Yeah, that's step 2. The first step is recognize you're being lied to. Step 2 is trying to figure out why. If people would just do that, you wouldn't have this problem. This is ludicrous. 5.5 hours at 30 to 40,000 feet ain't happening. He jumped a fence. He jumped a fence. So what was he wearing when he jumped a fence? What did he look like? The kid from A Christmas Story, Randy? The kid that had like, 9 jackets on and shit? Understand that everything that they're doing to you that you see on the news is bullshit. There's no Boston bombing. There's none of that crap. That's all part of the fear factor to get you to fall in line so they can keep taking away things from you. I mean, for fuck's sake, don't you guys get it? I told you, the show from Fox. Here's what the show is. They're going to take people and they're going to put them out in the middle of nowhere for a year, and they got to survive. And you have to convince the rest of the group why you should be kept instead of being thrown out. Don't you understand what that is? That's what they did in the fucking Holocaust camps. IBM made the first fucking gear-driven computer. It took your height, your weight, and your sex, and your age. And if you didn't meet a certain criteria, you were sent off to whatever they did with them. That's a whole other thing. But that's the bottom line there. Don't you understand the utopia? It's connecting the two pillars, and you ain't invited. You notice the individuals here are translucent. It's because they ain't from this realm. This is all part of the return of the golden age of Saturn. You guys don't get it. You ain't invited. You didn't get the golden ticket, motherfucker. You have to stop believing these stories. You have to start saying, fuck you. Stop believing all of these fake bullshit shootings. This is all fucking garbage.